Welcome to Thrifty Finds, a series for enthusiasts who enjoy the thrill of the hunt and finding that perfect love before item. I'm Emily, it's freezing outside today, and this is episode 2 of my 2-part series on how to find those really good finds in thrift stores. So last week we were discussing some really good just borderline rules for thrifting. So how to get the confidence, get better, and hone in on your skills. And today I'm going to give you a couple really good tips that I always keep in mind when I'm going into thrift stores. So tip number 1, don't look for the obvious things, or otherwise known as you don't know what you need until you find it. So we were decorating our bookshelf and I went into a thrift store one day and I saw this globe, and it was one of those moments where it was the perfect thing to fit in that exact space, but I didn't know that I needed it. You don't know what you don't know, and that applies to thrifting to the max. So always keep an open mind, and yeah, don't go in with something specific, really specific that you want to find. I've just said that you don't want to go in looking for specific things. Now I'm going to tell you, keep a list of things that you always want to have in the back of your mind that might be useful if you found it. I always look for sewing patterns, for vintage books, really good vinyl records, wool sweaters, and wool blankets. I picked this one up a couple weeks ago, and it's like 100% pure wool. You can never really have too many blankets. You can always give them away, and yeah, it's just one of those things that is a high quality item for a thrift store. And it's also freezing out today, so it's the perfect prop for this shoot. So tip number 3, have a plan of attack when you go into a thrift store. It can be really overwhelming when you walk into a thrift store because there's literally stuff everywhere. I find I'm like, if I don't have a plan, I'm like looking, oh my god, there's a deal over there, there's something over there, so I have to go in slowly and methodically, make a plan. So I start with something like, women's clothes, children's clothes, books, I move to the household section, and I just take my time. If I don't have a lot of time, I just decide when I'm going in, just do a small section of the thrift store. I'm only going to look at children's clothes today, because otherwise it's way too overwhelming. While we're on the topic of sections in the stores, it's always a really good idea to keep in mind that thrift store employees don't necessarily know where the ideal spot is to put things. So I found really good shirts for myself in kids clothing sections. I found cool stuff for myself in the men's clothing section. Kids books mixed in with the adult books. You just have to really keep that in mind when you're going into it. I remember one of the first things I learned about thrifting was this section rule. I would buy men's dress shirts when I was 12 or 13. I'd wear them with a belt or make them look sloppy, and I thought they looked cool at the time. Maybe they didn't, but that's not the point. Anyway, the point is, get outside the comfort zone for sections. So if you don't have kids, go to the kids section. You never know what you'll find. So for my next rule, sometimes the uglier the better. So I always like to say to myself, it's so ugly that I just have to have it. I don't know why that's the case. And for your taste, maybe you would hate this. I'm not really sure, but the point is that if it's different, sometimes it can just be that perfect thing that you never know that you need it. Which also brings me to my next rule of thumb when thrift shopping. Impulse buys are always a good idea. So this chair, we have lots of chairs in our house, but I went into a thrift store one day and I found this chair. It was $8. I was so happy. We didn't necessarily have a spot for it at the time, but I just thought I really liked the color. And I thought, as time goes on, maybe we could even reupholster it at some point. I like the fact that it's wood, and that it's not, it's not from IKEA. It's something that's a little bit different. And my last tip for today is that it's kind of a good idea to know your stuff. So talk to the employees, find out when they put out new stock. If the store has an apps program or a rewards program, sign up for the emails, find out when they're running good sales, because sales are amazing at thrift stores. And yeah, find out when you're putting out new stock. So you might, stumble on something that would get snatched up really quickly, like this cute little cradle that I got for the girls one day. I just hopped in at the right time, and it was literally a thing of timing. So that's all for today. Those are my top tips for how to be a really thrifty finder when it comes to thrift store shopping. I hope you stick with me. I've got some really good, cool things coming up in November that I can't wait to share with you. And yeah, I hope that you are inspired to go out and find some thrifty finds of your own today. I'm Emily from